Okay, so we're taking a look here at a reading that I just did. It's about the dimensional shift, reality split, whatever you want to call it, and this COVID-induced clown fuck that we have going on. So here we're just taking a look at where we are right now. So I did this reading like 10 minutes ago. So I'm sharing it now, which is why the cards are already down here. But so let's take a peek at this. The center card. And this is like the main card of the reading. So actually I'll go through this first before we do this. So we've got the center card, which is like the main card. This is the bottom of the deck here in the Three of Pentacles. And it kind of shows like what is really happening. So basically, if a person comes to me for a reading and they don't tell me what the question is, I can usually look at this card and figure out what they actually want to know about. But here, this is the main part, and then we kind of have this energy pulling downward. This here is kind of a buoyant type thing, and then we've got a past and a future. And this card is basically like, when in doubt, remember this. So anyway, the main card is our Ten of Cups reversed. So the Ten of Cups is like a happy reunited family. And the Ten of Cups reversed is when that family isn't so happily reunited. So it's like a dysfunctional family, or everyone is like forced together and they're not very happy about it. They don't like each other. Now that card bouncing off of our root card, which is a Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles shows that where we are in this whole big whatever the hell we're going through, we're at a place where what is really necessary is teamwork and collaboration, shown in the Three of Pentacles. But what is actually happening is the opposite. But as I was looking closer at this card, the way that people have been affecting each other, just like in the card, you can see like here the person, they're like hammering away here, and like they're kind of modifying each other, and here the person is drawing blood as they're like hammering into his face or whatever. So this is collaboration, but they're all kind of changing each other through the process. A lot of what has been happening with the way that people interact with each other over the last 4 or 5 months has been this sort of trying to force other people to change, or trying to mold them into whatever you are, which of course is bullshit. Like, it's total bullshit, and it would never ever work, because you can never actually change people. Sometimes you can inspire them, but you can't forcibly change anybody. So here, the way that actually shows up, instead of this happy reunited family, we've got everything turned upside down. And it's like, oh, here's the family that really doesn't want to fucking be together, So the energy that kind of pulls this down too is the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is about creation. It's basically what we're trying to create. This is what you're trying to bring into the world, like your baby, and a source of passion and inspiration and all of this. And everybody can sense a change in the world, that this is the ramifications of what happened now will probably be long lasting, and there are fundamental changes that are going on. So everyone's like, oh geez, well, I can help bring my vision of the world into being. But this is actually the energy that's pulling this and the family aspect of people down. And here it shows that we're trying to bring our passions into the world, basically by forcing change upon other people. Now, over here, this is like past energy, so it's past, present, future, like this. So in the past is the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is like impulse, and this is energy moving very quickly. And with so many riots and things breaking out all over the world, this stuff is definitely in there. The Knight of Wands is like ready to go. You know what I mean? They're like, all right, let's just fuck shit up. So this goes into here, and what comes next is here in the Nine of Swords. So from the place we are, which is the family that doesn't want to be together, what comes next is the Nine of Swords, and that is basically fear. And it's worrying about things that you can't do anything about or are not doing anything about. So here the person, it's like a sleepless night, you know? And they're worrying about some shit that they definitely can't take care of from their bed, you know? So it's pretty much just wasted motion, and they're just going around in circles in their head. So it's a bunch of wasted energy, pretty much mentally. When this card shows up in readings that I do for people, I always say, when the 9 shows up, just try to do something that you can control, because the 9 is about using all of your mental energy towards something that you can't do, you cannot control, or are not controlling. So this, to combat that, sweep the floor, you know, or like do the dishes, or fucking paint something, you know. Anything you can do in the physical world to help ground your energy is really helpful. So that'll be crucial, it looks like, in the next month or two. When this happens and you just start to spiral out of control in your head, just try to do some fucking thing that you can control, and that is like just a simple physical thing and like a task you can complete, you know, to help ground the energy. Now, as kind of the opposite side of the Ace of Wands, so this energy kind of pulls down a little bit. So theoretically, here's the buoy and the thing that can pull up from our family that doesn't want to spend another second together. So the Ace of Pentacles, it's really interesting that both of these showed up, but the Ace of Wands is passion. The Ace of Pentacles is, again, more physically real. The Ace of Pentacles, this is like the master of taking ideas and turning them into real stuff, you know? The Ace is like, it's usually the card that shows up for people who start their own business, or things like that, but it's like having this initial golden idea and then bringing it into the real world, even if it starts very small, like a stone or something, but then, you know, through the process of the pentacles, it turns into an empire. But anyway, down here is the passion, and this is like, oh, I've got to nurture this baby. But up here, it looks like the thing that is more helpful than that is just very physical stuff. It's less about passion and more about actual things. Which sounds like materialism, and that's not really what I'm talking about, but here you can easily get lost if you spend all of your energy on something that you cannot hold and control and see, you know. If it's just some other shit, you could easily get lost, and this is the counter to that. So this is super interesting too. So this card is basically the beacon card, and it's like, when in doubt, remember this. Now this same card showed up in a previous reading about COVID and like this whole fucking weird dimensional whatever the hell we're going through. Now what I'm really taking out of this 9 of Cups, and here the person summons the genie, and the genie's like, you can have whatever you want. So what do you want? And the person's like, oh my god, I hadn't really thought about that. But I feel like this is distraction, and like the person is kind of mesmerized, you know, they're just watching the cups float around. They're not actually taking any of the cups. They're just watching them all and they're like, oh, wow, that's pretty, you know? So, this, what I'm taking out of this is try to identify what it is that's holding you mesmerized, you know? The thing that you give a lot of energy to that you are not taking. Something that's just floating beyond your grasp, but it still totally has you like hypnotized. So everything in this reading is saying err on the side of like what you can have and control, and here it's just saying try to identify what exactly it is that sort of holds you in thrall like this. Because it looks like in order to write all of this, and teamwork eventually is going to be what's fucking necessary, and we will actually have to live together. So try to identify the thing that distracts you from any of that, you know. If you have any comments or questions or anything like that about this reading, feel free to leave a message. And peace